Bar for Bar album reviews. Coda the Friend and Statik Selektah, To Kill a Sunrise. To Kill a Sunrise is the latest collaborative project from Coda the Friend and Statik Selektah, and I believe this is the first full project the two have collaborated on. This project follows Coda's Lyrics to Go Volume 2 that dropped earlier this year, as well as his album Everything that dropped last year. It also follows Statik's, as per usual, busy year with his album The Balancing Act, as well as his multiple collab tapes. Given both of their track records, I think it's safe to assume that many are going to find something that they enjoy about this album. To Kill a Sunrise comes in at a total runtime of 33 minutes with 10 tracks, so it's right in that sweet spot for me. The album starts off with the track Wolves. Here, Coda is letting the listeners know that he can't lose and he's been raised by the wolves. That means that he's been through a lot and nothing can stop him. It's an interesting song because it's a little more aggressive than what we would typically hear from Coda, but it's really dope. This also acts as a solid intro because it really does let you know what you're in for with this album. He addresses the haters in the first verse, to which I'm still very confused because I don't see this apparent Coda slander on Twitter, but apparently they're out there and they need to relax with it. I also really enjoyed this bit from the second verse where he says, "Swore I was a rookie, I took his queen with a bishop. People always coming at me sideways, king. You dudes pawns, I'm with Hove and Nas controlling the board." This is obviously a chess reference because rooks, rookies, queens, bishops, kings. But it's done smoothly and it's not really forced, it felt. I also like this braggadocio by saying he's controlling the board, like Hove and Nas. The song is really dope though, especially because the beat totally fits Coda's style, but he's bringing an aggressiveness to it. Next we have Hate, which is a song addressing the haters. There's always going to be haters because people have nothing better to do. But Coda's not going to let that affect him at all because he knows what he's capable of and how dope he is. Another thing to note with this song is that it interpolates MF Doom's Rhymes Like Dimes from his Operation Doomsday tapes. So that's awesome. The song itself actually acknowledges this with the start of his third verse where Coda says, "I got time selling rhymes like dimes." Again, we get a pretty braggadocious chorus, which is basically letting the haters know that he can go back and forth with them all day. Like it's nothing. I also really like this line. "Made it out the gutter, doing numbers and still real. She covered me in 07, but you know I'm still kill." Only because I want so much to believe that this is a reference to the 50 Cent and Akon song, "I'll Still Kill" from his 2007 Curtis album. The third track here is The Cold. The Cold is all about him pushing through his lows and maintaining a positive outlook on things. To listeners of Coda, this probably isn't too surprising to include, since, at least from what I've heard of, he's generally positive, even though there's a lot of negative things going on in his mind. It's a solid track though, and I'm sure most people would enjoy it. I personally, I'm not really here for that type of track all the time though, so at least at the time of this review, it's not one of my favorites, but it's still good. I do like the line about him saving a little for interviews though. Coda is one of those people that puts a lot of himself in his music, so there really should be little to ask of him as far as interviews are concerned. The love continues his positivity, but in a slightly different manner. Here, the positivity is in the sense that he's doing what he loves. Sometimes you gotta do things that you don't necessarily want to do to get your goals, like working as an intern, like Coda was. The love and passion that you have for whatever it is that you want to do is what keeps you pushing and allows you to get through the tougher times. Take this channel, for example. I'm not making anything from it yet, but I keep doing these videos because I love to. Obviously, I still need to make money to survive, so that's where jobs come in. I am looking for a job, though, so if you're hiring, hit me up. With Go Now, we hear Coda talking to someone that he wants to build a relationship with, but confusion arises when he is getting mixed messages. The song itself is pretty straightforward, and we get an excellent performance from Haley Supreme on the chorus and just throughout the track. Definitely an enjoyable track, but it's a little bit lighter in terms of verses compared to the other tracks on the album. Personally, I would have liked for another verse, but that's okay. With What You Sayin', we hear about a person or people around Coda that are trying to bring him down. There's always going to be people around you that are jealous of where you are now and how you got there, and to make themselves feel better, they do things to try to bring you back down to their level. This is something that I feel a lot of people go through, especially in music. he could possibly be talking about an ex as well, who's just kind of stuck in the past and still hasn't fully grasped why they're no longer together. In typical Kota fashion, though, he hopes that one day they can be on the same page and laugh at all the things that they've been through. Next, we have Live and Direct, which is about being upfront about things that are happening around you and in your life. The chorus says it best with "better share your mind with your set." Basically, what he's saying here is, if something's wrong, let the people around you know. You don't have to deal with your traumas on your own. There's always people that are around you and willing to help you out. And it's usually the people that are closest to you that are the most willing to do so. It's also about just being real with yourself, because in the second verse we hear Kota talking about how he can't really put his trust in others, and that he's been told that he's got control issues. To which he says, nah, I manipulate so I don't have to say that I do. Really what he's doing here is telling you to keep it real, acknowledging these things are important. As we approach the end of the album, we get Dayglow. This song has Kota reminiscing about the old days and the road that he's traveled to get here in the first verse. With the second verse, Kota carries on the same thoughts that he had towards the end of the first and talks about the things that he wants in life moving forward. It's a pretty straightforward track again, and I'm sure that listeners will enjoy it because it can help you think about the things that you want and possibly reinvigorate you and push you to do more. The penultimate track is Sunrise. On this track, we hear Kota talking about staying true to himself, but in a different manner than on Live and Direct. Here, he's talking about how he's never really wanted to be fake or act like someone else. He's always just been Kota. A lot of the themes that we've gotten throughout the album continue here, including not regretting things and the love you have pushing you to do more. It's a good way to wrap up the album because it acts like a conclusion paragraph to an essay, almost. The final song is Sunset, which is appropriate because you can make the argument that to kill a sunrise, you have to have a sunset. The song really feels like a continuation and reiteration of Sunrise, but I like it a little bit more. I think that's mostly due to the chorus where Kota's singing. I just prefer it, but again, Kota is just keeping it real. Overall, this album was solid. Kota's style and content isn't something that I always enjoy, but I enjoyed it this time around. With that said, I do prefer the tracks where Kota's being a little bit more aggressive and braggadocious because I feel that's something that he can do well, and I did find myself trailing off towards the end of the project when he got a little bit more positive. I do suspect that fans and longtime listeners of Kota will really enjoy it though. As always, whenever there's a collab project with a single producer, there's a good chance that it'll be dope, and this is no exception. Statik Selektah is such a dope producer, and I feel like he's really able to tap into Kota's style and really helped it flourish. My favorite tracks are Wolves, Hate, The Love, Live and Direct, and Sunset. I look forward to checking out whatever it is that Kota has in store for us next, as well as whatever collab Statik Selektah has cooking up, because those are always a great listen. With that said, that wraps up my review. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this album, what your favorite tracks are, and maybe explain the Kota hate to me, because I'm still confused. Also remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more reviews and content like this. Thank you for watching, and please stay safe out there.